Hello. How was everybody doing today? I hope everyone will be in. Of course, I'm World I am. My name is Phil. Okay, please. How is everybody doing today? Today is Thursday. Okay, you know what? Um, I'm technically bi, but you know what? I shall accept this. Oh yeah. Also, how you doing? How are you doing today, honey? What? Right there. So as y'all know, today is you can't hear anything. Wait, what? Can you hear my voice? You might have to turn your settings. You might have to turn your settings in Twitch up a little bit. Cause I think Twitch is being a goofy goober today. That's happening to a lot of people I notice. But, am I sound all the way up? Well, I mean, if you heard me, then you heard something. We don't have any VR chat audio playing, so... Hey, you talk really low. Hold on. I don't know, why is my such a low volume? Is this better? It's like at max volume. The hotkeys. If your volume's all the way up, then question your browser settings. The hotkeys. Here, let me turn it all the way up in my OBS. There you go. Hi, Flames. Hey, Pineapple. How you doing? Hopefully you're having a wonderful day, and of course, a more happy mental health month today. Also, since it is the mental health month, I decided today I'm gonna share some facts, and I'm gonna share some let me change my status here. I'm gonna share some facts. I'm gonna share some experience I had. Yesterday or 2 days ago that I had. So, that's gonna be interesting to me, and we're gonna do a little mental health stuff. So, let me turn my blur off. So, a little thing happened yesterday. Apparently, not really yesterday, but 2 days ago. Apparently, something happened 2 days ago that contributed to a factor that wasn't really a known factor to me, but due to a lack of communication in all aspects of things, I ended up getting banned from my, well, not really mine, but from my friend's server, and it was really weird. Like, what the heckies? No word in advice? No word. After almost, was it 3 months of no communication? Well, technically it's more than 3 months, more like 5 months now. There's a lot of stuff that has happened over the past 2 days. And we saw a little, serious time. It's all due to the declining mental fortitude of a, person. What did you say that? This is gonna be a news thing, so I better keep my community informed rather than them out of the dark. Okay? He's a familiar being that was with us previously, and we got that being because they decided to start some shit. So call them out for it. And I actually have a question for y'all. If somebody calls you out for shit that you basically did, you don't really recognize it, or you try to mask it as something else, what does that kind of say about the meaning that happened? What does that kind of say? It doesn't look well for both of you. It doesn't really look well for any community. It really doesn't look well for the person, or the person being involved, or the person, currently being an ass, for lack of a better term. Well, yeah, I have a few. I have things to go over in the stream, and like some of it being personal experiences, some of it being mental health fortitude training, and since this is mental health month, is gonna be interesting to talk about. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Y'all ready for some mental fortitude stuff? Are you? You got this, though. You got this. I believe I can train you, and like being more mentally fortitude. And your mind is a castle. You gotta protect your mind. Don't let your mind tell you lies and have you spiral into something dark. You gotta show your mind the light. You gotta tell it mind's boss. How? I'm getting sidetracked, Ernie. Alright. Come on. We got this. We got this. So, as I was saying, I'm getting off track. I'm getting off track here. We had teens that did some things to us, and well, it really wasn't good for our community because it opened us up to a world of the lovely world of guilt tripping. And it was subconscious too, which makes it even more heck in a handbasket to deal with. So, usually subconscious guilt tripping has a mental fortitude factor of, I would say, 1. Your mind has basically gotten used to guilt tripping people for the sake of guilt tripping people, and personally attacking them because you're feeling like you need a guilt trip. Let's just say I had that happen 2 days ago, and I called them. I called them person outfit, cause guilt tripping is something I absolutely despise and hate. And if you guilt trip me, I'm gonna reflect the same energy back to you to make you realize that you're guilt tripping. But there's a factor I didn't throw in there, and I completely realized 2 days ago. There's a way to destroy guilt tripping. Believe it or not, there's a way. You got this, right? The way to destroy guilt tripping? Call them out for it, but also show them kindness by deflecting the guilt and converting it into questions. So see, you have a person that constantly wants to bring up past mistakes and wants to make you feel guilty about them again, over and over and over again. Okay. The best way to deflect that is ask them why they are guilt tripping again. Ask them why. Oh, hang on, this music is too loud. At least in my ears, my bad. Ask them why they're guilt tripping. Ask them why they feel the need to bring up past mistakes, and quote unquote personally attack you via guilt tripping. You gotta ask them that question, because once you ask them that question, then there's 2 responses. They'll continue to blame you and be very, very, very passive aggressive about it. So they'll say basically like, "Oh, well, you did this to me, and I conquered it. Just saying." Yeah, no. That's passive aggressiveness. And that's not good. That's the key factor in basically recognizing the guilt tripping. Because, believe it or not, guilt tripping also, a little bit of side topic here, guilt tripping also goes into toxicity. So toxicity also has a factor in guilt tripping, which is wonderful to find out, especially yesterday. I had a bean come to me because I was trying to reconnect with them and see how they're doing, and like simply ask them questions like what happened, like why are you repeating same behaviors as you did last time? And as soon as I call them out for guilt tripping, they got very defensive. Very defensive. They started blaming me. They started personally attacking me. And all that sort of stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Personal attack this, personal attack that. And that's why I said, okay, here. This conversation ends here. This is not gonna fly in my books. I hate guilt tripping, and I hate people using guilt as a weapon or a tool to prove their point, or to prove that they're right, or to actually corrupt people's opinions on people. And I hate it, and I wish it would go away. I wish it would, but I can't change people. I can only call them out for it. And if I can't change you, I'm gonna call you out for it. But the mental factor of that is holy shit, we got sidetracked by then. Guilt is a weapon that some people use. Guilt is a venom that we feel. Okay. Once people have guilt in their system, it starts to spread to their arms, to their legs, to their mind, to their prefrontal cortex, because that, believe it or not, affects how you are. Unless you have the mental fortitude to actually defend against that venom, it's not really going to end well because, well, obviously you don't really have much mental fortitude. Once you have that mental fortitude, it's going to be a lot more better because you can handle it more easily. And instead of like running away from conversations and like concluding yourself or concealing yourself in, oh shit, lag. Instead of concluding yourself and concealing yourself in like one little corner, once you have that mental fortitude, your mind will basically say, okay, you know what? That's fair. That's fair because I'm that, and I accept that. I will try to improve, but in the end, it's my decision to improve. Right? Alright. There's another factor. The choices. Once you have two choices, you got to accept it or deny it. When you accept it, that's an amazing feeling. That's an amazing, basic. Also, thank you for the follow. Thank you, Sinky, for even. How you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful day and, of course, wonderful time. Also, thank you, CJ Wolf, for the follow. Hope you're having a wonderful day and, of course, wonderful time. welcome on into the mental health stream, by the way. We're talking about guilt tripping and mental fortitude, and basically how you can build your mental fortitude in a way to where you don't have to guilt trip and you can conquer subconscious guilt tripping. However, there's a factor in that not people many know about guilt tripping, especially I see it in a previous kind of pet I used to have. When people want to guilt trip, it's usually due to wanting attention, wanting focus drawn to them, wanting people to be cast in a negative light, or if people want to basically exclude the person from whatever activities that they're doing by corrupting people in a group. Okay. So when that happens, two key chemicals are at play. Okay. Dopamine, because you get that satisfaction of actually feeling like you've accomplished that goal in pushing people away and excluding another person from an entire community. And there's oxytocin. Oxytocin, I don't really know much about. However, I have been told it can really impact the mind in some way. I have a lot more research to do on it, but when oxytocin comes into play, it really affects the center of your brain that I think has to do with sensing consequences. So, with me, I know consequences. I know that, okay, consequences can be good or bad, can be bad or good, can be evil, pure, or whatever. When people have consequences, it can basically mean that in two ways. One, that consequence is actually natural, and this is what people in their own mind, not influenced by other people's opinions, not influenced by other people's thoughts, not influenced by other people's mentalities of basic darkness, but the actual pure thought process up here, like excluding it from all other thought processes of other people. That's pure thought. That's pure thought. That is pure consequence. That is pure decision making. That is basically you making your own decisions for yourself. Okay. And then there is the other factor. Influenced decision making. Oxytocin, that lovely little chemical that our brain produces, and believe it or not, actual body produces sometimes naturally, it has a tendency to make us, from my own experience and actually seeing it for myself, make us really volatile and agitated, enough to where when somebody calls us out, we let that chemical take over and drive us to making the absolute wrong decision. Like, for example, okay, I'm gonna give you a quick example here. Okay. When you make the wrong decision, that's your decision, that's your choice. That is basically your brain making that choice, and discussing it with you and letting you actually spit it out into words, right? When oxytocin comes into play, the filter is kinda nulled. Okay, so instead of saying, oh, I gotta discuss this with my brain, I need to make this choice either for myself or for the people around me. Key difference, the people around you, right? The people around you. Now, you come first in any type of situation. Nobody can make decisions for you. You can make them yourself, and you can make them for, there's the sequel, you can make them for you only. Alright? Nobody can change that. Nobody can define that for you. Nobody can help you make those decisions. Like, guide you? And they can give you their thoughts, but in the end, that's your decision to make, not anybody else's. Unless you have that decision. That's when the little oxytocin comes in. He comes running along. Oh, I want to say this out loud without thinking. Once it comes out, it really messes up. Once it comes out, it has two factors. People can take it the right way or the wrong way. Okay? Or they can manipulate it into an opinion to where they are basically converting your words and putting them into a context where it's in a negative light for you. No. I've had this happen 2 days ago because I called somebody out for guilt tripping. Obviously, I said this before. I hate guilt tripping. I hate people making me feel guilty for past. I hate people who make me feel that I should be guilty because they feel guilty. blah, 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 blah. Again, reflected energy. I know how to conquer that now. I know how to call you out for that now. I know the mentalities behind it and the neurological studies behind it. When people do that, all three chemicals that our body produces that have an effect on here are at play. Okay. There are other chemicals, but these are the main three. Dopamine, oxytocin, and adrenaline. Now, when those three chemicals are at play, that process get crazy, people get shadowed, or put in a bad light, put in a negative light, put in an actual kind of place to where they can't join communities out of fear of they're now being seen in a negative light. When people have that happen to them, it's devastating. And here's the thing. That had that happen to me today. All because one little being decided to make the little choice to have an opinion be shadowed by their own mind. The little dopamine, the adrenaline, and the oxytocin. And if I could say one more thing to that little being, is that you're in charge of your own choices, not anything else. You're bringing up the past, you're bringing up everything about me that was supposed to help you, and now you deal with the consequences that you're putting on me. That ain't right. That ain't right at all. But here you are, thinking you're right. Thinking you're self-righteous. You're on that little throne of lies. I got one thing to say to you. The mentalities behind guilt tripping, no, and I know how to destroy them. Every little guilt tripping mentality, there's a way to take a block of that and cause it to collapse around the person. And simply put, no more guilt tripping. Now, the next part of this is actually a wonderful little thing that I, let's just say, witnessed in RP. Let's just say that really quickly. How many of y'all have played 5M or have basically done RP in text or in video games, okay? Now, keep in mind, this has nothing to do with the city I am currently in. This is completely to a different city. So, server owners, moderators, letting you know, because I this needs to come out right fucking now, because this is not gonna fucking be in my brain for long, because I need a fucking vent, right fucking now. Otherwise, it's gonna destroy me. So, for those who don't know what being server ambitious RPs, or ambitious reborn, I guess you could say. Is it reborn? Well, that's extremely odd though. I don't think it's reborn. It's got less resources than last time. I think it was 357 they had in last time. Because I've been keeping tabs on the server and like fucking trying to figure out what kind of resources they use, what kind of resources I can try and get creative ideas from. I've been trying to rebuild my city and fucking trying my damnedest to fucking afford 5M RP server. Well, I gotta think about it for a second. Okay, it's getting off topic. I'm going into other servers, my bad. The main one. Okay. Not the city I'm currently in. It's another city. The two cities I'm currently in are, what the fuck was that? Is it Streamline? I think it's Streamline RP. I have to look at Discord, but every time I pull up Discord on here, it fucking lags me, and I don't know why. But, Streamline RP, and what was it? It was something. My god, I almost play it every day now. I should remember the name, right? Okay, hang on. My brain drew complete blank here. I gotta. Oh my gosh, Unwritten RP. Unwritten RP. Unwritten RP is actually fucking amazing. Holy shit. It's so fucking good. I have a lot to explore, and there's a lot more stuff to do. There's just so much fun, and I made so many friends. I gotta fucking like. It's so fucking good to be in that city. But was the previous city I was in. We had a structure that was, I'm assuming, destroyed because, well, I don't know if it's still active or not. Not from what I've seen though. Not from what I've seen though, because it definitely seems like their structure is completely gone from RP. Sorry, I'm trying to word things properly. When I saw a person stream in another city, a certain thing came out in me, and it remembered something that I've seen a long time ago, which I didn't really want to see again. When a city starts to decide that they want to do a realistic RP, or semi-realistic RP, or even Los Santos realism RP, there are two key factors. Or sorry, there are a lot of key factors. There are a lot of key factors, but in my mind, there are two. Technically, three. It's your police department, your EMS, and your mechanics. The police department are in charge of criminals, dealing with criminal activities. They're in charge of giving criminals something to do. They're in charge of basically handling the cells, jail, all that sort of stuff. They even have their own responsibilities in RP, right? In another city, I witnessed a collapse in structure live on scene. So here's the fun part, right? In real life, okay, there are certain structures in Ring to where that they're easily, they're easily going to be referenced in RP, and like, they're going to easily be referenced in RP, and it's basically going to be a structure that you build on, okay? However, there are certain structures that involve either favoritism or a being in power, which shouldn't really be in power, okay? I witnessed something that I really wasn't too happy with, because that's not how IRL police departments work. In police departments and in federal agents are supposed to...
Like and Sunwolf played Fire Flame's Hot Moment. Fire for 100 channel points.
What the heckies? I like it. How you doing on here? In police departments, in federal agents, I got distracted. In federal agents, you cannot have a federal agent run a police department and go around telling people he was the previous fed, okay? IRL-wise, that is a very likely way of suspension, and it is very dangerous to do, because that puts a giant red target on your back with a giant flashing neon light. IRL-wise, federal agents are supposed to be in their own department. For example, this one being a FIB moment, okay? So, IRL we have... Oh, shit, lag. IRL we have FBI, we have CIA, we have criminal investigation associations, we have all that lovely stuff, okay? However, when you put in the game's FIB, that is a conversion for the FBI. The FBI becomes the FIB when you're in city. Would a Federal Bureau investigator say that they're an agent or an ex-agent and become an actual police officer from all those ranks? Definitely not. Because if you do that, that is against, I think, government class and the government policies that I saw in RP one day when I was trying to figure out what I was going to do and which city I wanted to move to before I actually started to acknowledge some of the things that I saw in my previous city. Well, not really previous city, but more or less 2 cities ago. Technically 4, because Ambitious was my 3rd city? No, it was my 5th city. I have 7 years plus 1 experience in RP, and I've seen so many realistic police scenarios that it's becoming a very, very good habit of mine to observe cities before I ever join them. And when I observe cities, let's just say I have an entire notebook that I keep in my Discord. Not really public Discord, but in private Discord. That I cross-reference with actual scenarios that people have done in other cities. That have done in other games. I have cross-referenced actual RP. Not any fake RP or lazy RP, actual RP. That have been involved with very big cost comparisons to the way IRL stuff is done. No. I'm gonna tell you a little scenario that we had. Or sorry, not me, but the city had. That I was in before I ever joined Unwritten and Spring Lake IP. Oh, now I fucking remember the name. We had a scenario where my character, Fel, had a very big grudge with a certain police officer. A certain police officer decided, oh, hey, I'm gonna be best friends with the being that corrupted you. Well, I can't change that being. I can't change that officer. So that's fine. Okay. But without communication, it's hard because you're trying to cross-reference your actual feelings to your in-city feelings because, well, my character is me, okay? I let my feelings come in and I filter them through. Thank you, Kiki. I filter them through a very fine filter and implement them into my character. Whether they should be influenced in character, or whether they should not be influenced in character. If they're IRL, or something I made up that I want to do with my character. And I can easily convert my IRL feelings into something Phil can actually play out. That's my responsibility to do. Somebody says to me when, Phil, you let your in-city feeling, you let your out-of-city feelings come in-city. Yeah? That's basically what Fel is. She's a reflection on me. I play her, and her is me. If I don't let her emotions come out and refine the filter, well, that's gonna be built up for Fel, not for me. Because IRL me is different than Fel in city, right? That's kind of the rule. If that's the rule, then I'm gonna do it. You is her and she is you. Exactly. I'm a witch. She's a witch. I am a female. I am trans feminine. I am, well, technically, actually, she's trans, my bad. I am autistic. She's autistic. I got a lot of stuff in my character that I reflect from higher levels of. Like, I got medical practice from my grandma. Phil, in her previous life, was an EMS director and a EMS chief, and well, an EMS doctor. So I take my experiences, convert them into Phil's, and then we get experiences for Phil, right? I mean, I've witnessed what the law can do. I've read judicial documents. I have read how the court system works. I've read a lot about the law, enough to where my brain thinks it's a bit too much and it's starting to forget a little bit about the law. But I read a lot, and if I know it, then that's an experience for Phil. Wait, you're a witch? Oh, that explains why my heart. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. But anyways, everything that I have learned right now is basically gained through RP. So I learned a lot on mental fortitude when I had my first ever situation with a mean that is long gun. Like long gun. I don't know where they are. And then I had a bean that was egotistical, and I learned how to conquer egos and call them out and destroy them. Now, over time, I learned more and more about myself through mental fortitude and learning from cities, because cities have been collapsing due to egos, and I fucking hate it, and I hate absolutely everyone that collapses to an ego. It's fucking difficult to actually do, because if you're gonna RP through an ego, it becomes a lot more difficult if you don't have an ego yourself. Okay, if someone is running a city that has an ego, then it's hard, very, very hard on person to actually interpret the city's kind of feelings for that person. And especially from a staff standpoint, it's so fucking hard. Terrible, but definitely make you smile a little bit. So win for me. You know, I appreciate it. Anyways, we're getting off topic here. We're getting off topic. But I was in the city, the ambitious RP, and I witnessed a very, let's just say power gamed RP, right? Well, I wouldn't say power gamed. I would definitely call it an abuse of power for PD, because they locked somebody in the cells, and from a person with 7+ years, this is very, very ingy-inducing, because the PD are not supposed to fucking act like that, especially coming from Los Santos law. Los Santos would never do that. They would never fucking lock somebody in a cell, pelt them with beanbags, like the beanbag shotgun that some cities have, and then fucking revive them in the cells, make them pick up an item for that person, and force them to give it back to them by the means of entrapment. Does that sound like police department RP for you? Does that sound like anything positive from the PD? Ain't no way in hell those police officers are actual police officers. Cause if you do that IRL, even with common sense, even if it's a joke, that person that is currently being trapped, especially with her tone of voice being like, okay, let me the fuck out, come on guys, come on. It's gonna look very bad. Especially if you're viewing it from an outside-in perspective, and you're like looking for a server to actually play on. When somebody views it like that, it's like, oh, so there's lazy RP and there's fucking powered RP. Okay, oh, and we got officers pulling rank. Oh god, this is a wonderful city to join. And then they're gonna basically take their mouse and just click off the tab. It's It's bad for a city because police departments IRL do not do that. And I've seen many police departments in IRL that have not done that. They never do that unless they have a really bad officer. Okay. Think about it from the perspective of the being that was in the cell. If he's constantly being pelted with beanbags, how would you feel? Right? How would, say, captain feel? How would a chief feel? How would fucking the officer standing right next to him feel? They'd be terrified because the fucking guy is being pelted in the cells. There wouldn't be any fucking interaction. There would be fucking blood everywhere. And that blood is on PD's hands. If there were an actual government official, the PD would be fucking destroyed. Because they would have a really stern talking to. Coming from a behavioral analyst and a mental analyst, that just screams like you're abusing your power for the gain of entertainment. Because that's not looking good for you, right? It's not. It's not. Again, coming from a city that I was previously in. Not my current cities, not the two I like to play in, but a previous city, right? Now, onto the decision-making process of, let's just say, hello from the wolf, may your fire burn bright and the eternal flame forever guide your path. Thank you, Black Wolf. Also, hello, welcome on in. We're talking about mental health stuff and personal experiences. But this is definitely a thing for cities to recognize. If you have officers that do that just for entertainment's sake, from an IRL standpoint, if you do that IRL, you are getting put on the ground, being put on leave permanently because you're basically torturing the person and basically fucking exploiting the person's situation. Because in all honesty, that is fucking torture. And if you're gonna do that, then you don't deserve a job at PD. No. Now, however, if you're having an FIB agent, even though this is where the FEI actually starts to come in and basically get the references that I learned from reading up on their the whole running things from a chief perspective. Okay, FIB agents cannot run a police officer's station, especially if they're ex-agents. They are government protected, they are government owned, they are not allowed to run any sort of PD station. Now, if you have, say, an army lieutenant, or a person from the military, or somebody who knows their actual stuff and knows that they have a degree in law, a degree in whatever PD degrees are, they have a degree in policing, okay, then, only then, can a police officer become a chief, a lieutenant, a captain, a sergeant, or whatever. You don't go from Fed to PD. You don't go from FIB agent to PD. You are an asset to the state, and you are an asset to the government. Not an asset for the police. Police are a separate department, and they cannot have separate agents coming from any other agency. Okay? If you're gonna do that, at least fucking modify your character to actually know that, hey, you're an ex-FIB agent. You cannot be a part of PD, but maybe if you start your own investigation agency, then you can run that, just not PD. No. Once you have that all accumulated in a server, in a city, and all that, discarding EMS, because the EMS department is actually really, 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 really fucking good, and I love the EMS department. I love the fucking beans that are there. They're so fucking honorable. Mechanics department, they could use some change because there is some people in there that have lack of interaction or NPI, no value to interact, or basically just want to run off and speed off, and rather than communicate with the officers in play. Again, different city. If you're gonna run off and not communicate with the officer, what is your purpose in RP? Because I get that some people don't like officers, but at least fucking tell them, hey, do you want to chase? It's what we call courtesy. You ever heard of it? Think about it from that person's perspective and the person in the PD car. They walk up to the window and they immediately knock on it and say, license and registration, please. Hope you're doing well today. And they immediately drive off? What is that gonna say about the fucking interaction quality? That wonderful interaction quality? Straight into the ground. For my own opinion. Now keep in mind, these are my own opinions, and they are very, very, very well thought through and important, because I fucking keep them in a journal and I rewrite them every time because I see new things every day that I see in City or see in another perspective or from another streamer's perspective or whatever. Basically, I collect perspectives. And I like collecting perspectives because it's fucking good to actually do. It's healthy for the city. And it's actually really healthy to have somebody that can call out a person that's in power, aka a server owner or a server staff member, and tell them straight up, yo, you know you're power gaming, right? You know you're fucking metagaming, right? You know you're fucking doing this, right? That is a very highly encouraged practice for cities. And if people get upset about it, oh well, you're still gonna be able to call them out, because that just proves your point. If they're getting defensive about it, the neural incognition of that is gonna be so obvious that it's gonna be like, oh, okay, that just proves my point. But yeah, it's lovely when you start to just study behavioral patterns and themes, and it's just amazing to actually know about and fucking study how they react to some things. If they get defensive about this, is there a reason, or are they trying to hide it? There's a lot of neural studies as well as I think one of the studies that I actually read is the defenses of the mind. There's an article out there that basically explains why people get defensive, why people have a certain attitude against other people, why people have to feel they have to agree with a person in order to actually build a more healthier perspective for that themselves. Like, you don't have to, you want to. Okay. Have versus want. Supply versus demand. Need versus want. All that sort of stuff. The mind is a very tactical playground of thoughts, electrons, electrical signals, mental behaviors, behavioral patterns, a lot of stuff. And once you actually get to know that kind of stuff, boy howdy, is your mind, your mind, not the other person's mind, your mind, a mental castle, and boy howdy is it a very, very handy tool. Especially when it comes to someone guilt tripping. Now, on to the next thing. Oh, that just popped my back. Holy shit. Another subject for stream that I was supposed to go over in one of my mental health channels that I completely forgot to is... Where the fuck is it? Where is my sanctum? There it is. Got it here somewhere. But if y'all haven't already, make sure you have a drink, please. And like, if you have a drink or if you have, nom, go ahead, grab it now, because I want y'all to remain hydrated and like keep your fluids up, because it is getting summer. It is really getting hot out there. It's really getting fucking very violent out there here down in the South States. Because right now out there's a fucking storm, and I hate it. Because storms make the fire tired. And when I got tired, I really have no filter, which is a really healthy thing to do when it goes through a negative filter. I don't really like negative filters. I like my positive filter. I like my truthful honesty filter. Truthful honesty filters are so fucking good to have instead of sugarcoating things. Because that just says to the person, okay, instead of sugarcoating things from your mouth to my brain and back out of my mouth, I'm gonna take your words, your own words that you have said, run them through my analysis, and spit them right back at you, because that's your words and they're coming right back to you to make you feel the reflected energy that I have just felt. Now, if you can't handle that, I'm sorry for you. But I'm not sorry for myself. But yeah, hold on, my fucking OBS was lagging. Hello. Alright. I got that one done. Let's actually do this one. So this subject is actually more relevant to this time. So you had a person that would attempt to be a different person every time. Okay, I went through some research on the structure of DID. Okay, dissociative identity disorder. Basically, the brain's way of saying, I'm gonna take some trauma and I'm gonna dump it into another part of the brain for you. And it's also a survival skill, because, well, you don't know how to deal with that trauma. You really don't. But I'm here to tell you you can. Because, as a person who's dealt with it almost all their life, if you don't know how to deal with it, why are you letting another person deal with it for you? If you don't want to deal with it, then come back to it. If you're coming back to it, then that gives you more mental fortitude to actually try and recognize what caused that trauma, what caused that trauma to actually appear in a different form, what caused that trauma to actually be there in the first place, and basically what caused that trauma to form. So you got 4 identifiers, okay? Now, when those identifiers start to come into play, it starts to take shape. Sorry, I'm burping. My bad. I got the burps! It starts to take shape in a very mentally unhealthy way. Cause, not gonna lie, it's a survival mechanism, I get it. And people have had their own ways of basically sorting it out, doing it for themselves, and all that sort of stuff, okay? Hi, mouse! Bye-bye! Goddamn plates.
Mouse underscore
Hi,
cat
Mouse. We're talking
19
about the
played
mental
Fire
structure
Flames.
of
I have a
DID.
place.
Oh,
Fire
boy.
for 100 channel points.
Also taking mental health studies and talking about mental fortitude. So, just making sure y'all would catch up, okay? So people who have basically like sorted out their DID, okay, have basically noted down their mental triggers, noted down their physical triggers, noted down their psychological triggers. High respect for them. Very, very high respect for them. However, there are certain people that have basically told their triggers, I'm not going to write you down, I'm going to simply say them. Okay? I'm not going to write them down for you, and it's your job to guess them as a person. Okay? I had one being that did that, and I got so fucking confused. There's so many feelings I had for the actual main persona, but not really for any of the other personas, because that's trauma. That's trauma, and I'm not willing to deal with trauma until you're actually willing to deal with it. AKA taking your personalities and basically having a sit down with them, discussing what caused this, what can be done about it, what can be established with it, what can be talked about. Okay. Like see, I have Tana. Okay, so for some who don't know what Tana is, Tana was my playful side, and she decided to manifest herself as a puppy. Okay, what I am now slash wolfhound, a wolfhound pup. So when Tana manifested, Tana was a very simple form of being playful. She had her own responsibilities, she had her own motives and drives. But I had a sit down with her. I told her, hey, you seem like you have a lot of energy, okay? You have a lot of energy that is amazing for your side. And coming from your host, I would like to merge with you. And rather than just, because we obviously had to talk about this, because, well, I'm still a little bit traumatized, but that's okay. That's the topic for the conversation, and I've already vented about almost all of my trauma. Honestly, I think I'm almost done venting my trauma. It's not trauma dumping, it's venting. I had to sit down with her, and we decided to merge, because that would be a lot more healthier for me. And it would come out with a side that was definitely a very healthy choice for me. And well, let's just say I have never been more fucking mentally fortified. And more energetic on the stream. Like, holy shit. But yeah, it was the right decision to merge with Tana. And I feel like she's a part of me now. Because I'm my playful, and so is Phil, and so is me. But yeah. Once you decide to merge with them, even if it's just one, okay? Once you decide to merge with them, that trauma is now a part of you. You now have the mental kind of knowledge. If you ever decided to take steps to research it a bit, you have that mental fortitude in order to deal with that trauma. You have your weapon. No, go show that trauma who's boss. No, this doesn't seem that you have to merge with your personas, because that's definitely not what I'm saying. But it's a step in the right direction to overcoming DID. Have a sit down, talk about it, see what merging is like. If merging isn't a part of you, then unmerge. It's a hard process, but I'm very sure, given enough time, given enough effort, given enough kind of institution in your mind, you are able to overcome that. And if you're not willing to put energy towards it, that's fine. That's fine. That's on you, not me. That is on you. But yeah, merging with the ID, or sorry, merging with personality is an interesting process. God, I feel like I just vented my entire fucking brain out on that one. I feel like I took an entire safe, carried it 1.5 miles to the fucking dumpster yard, and fucking put it in the fucking library drawer. Oh, it feels so good to actually vent that out. Holy shit. I will say this one, y'all, and it definitely is a quite big process to gain better mental fortitude in order to deal with things that you don't have the energy to deal with, but another party has to deal with. Once you have enough energy, it's gonna be a whole good process on you. It's just gonna make you a better person. Yeah. As I almost ran into a wall. The last thing I'm gonna talk about is one thing that I wanted to talk about, but I completely forgot it, and I'm just now remembering it. It has to do with the quality of, oh god, what was it? Quality of dealing with people who have harmed you in the past, okay? So, being me, I like to nip problems in the bud, okay? I like to talk to people, get their own kind of mental fortitude, get their own kind of level of mental knowledge, you know, be curious and be not really judgmental. Once I actually have opinions on them, I'll express them to them because, well, that's the best way to actually get out your thoughts about them because, well, the more opinions you actually express, the more kind of understanding you can grow with that person. Now, the thing is, if they want to understand it, if they want to accept that opinion, people deny opinions all they want. But if it's coming from multiple people, then yeah, it's gonna end up being an entire thing. Because you're trying to help them through it, you're trying to get them to a point to where they're basically healing with themselves and not really self-harming or self-destructing or self-degrading themselves, a lot of self-things that are negative, and actually working with them in order to be more healthy for themselves, okay? Now, if they want the help, congrats to them. You're the right teacher for them, you're the right person for them, you are willing to work with them, then props to you. Okay? And props to the person for actually coming out with that. But if you're not willing to accept help, then that's also okay. Because, well, that's your choice. That's your own fucking demeanor of declining the health of a person that could possibly help you. Right? People with a large amount of mental fortitude are the most greatest weapons in some cases. Because instead of fucking talking, they listen. Instead of fucking English. Instead of fucking commenting, they watch. And they watch for certain behaviors aligned with something in their mental research. So if I say, oh, I can't stay up right now because I have to go to bed because somebody told me to. If you're gonna say okay to that, then if they're basically, let's just say, a person that needs to do that, then yeah, okay. Bye-bye, have a good night. But if they're gonna be like, oh, I have to go to bed because my fucking partner told me to, and I can't stay up with you. So I'm just gonna go here, I'm gonna poof, and I'm just gonna... that is the lovely center of dopamine and the reward center of dopamine, and the fucking... A lot of things to do with dopamine that constantly have to activate the reward center, okay? Because if you fucking go to bed, there are two feelings that are present there. Well, obviously, there's sleep there as well, but if you're being told you'll need to go to bed and you can't stay up for this long, however, what kind of thing, I get that some people can care, but that also opens up a path of kind of commandants, okay? Now, some people have basically been very, what's the fuck was the word for it? Some people have basically had I'm trying to think of the right word for it. Have let a partner tell them that, oh, you need to go to bed because I think you're this. Instead of actually, hey, are you tired? Do you need to go to bed? Do you need to do that? Like, we can go to bed right now. I can log off right now and just stay with you. Don't do that. Don't do what I just said, okay? That is sacrificing your time for another's time, okay? Relationships. Relationship plays, and this is coming from a person that was in a relationship where I felt like I had to sacrifice my time for that thing. Emotions can be a very big tool for manipulators and quite a bit of beings in order to get them the satisfactory of what they want or what they need rather than what you want or what you need. Okay. So, rather than expressing, hey, I feel tired, so I'm just gonna go lay down, text me when I wake up because I still want to hang out with you. And not having that, kind of additional thing called, I'm gonna go lay down, but I'm also gonna stay up with you and make sure you go to sleep and stuff and things. It's a common sense of preservation because you're basically keeping yourself healthy, keeping your mind healthy, keeping your sleep balanced. Without that balance of each person, Mouse, what's gonna end up happening? What's gonna happen if we don't have a balanced relationship? It's not gonna end well. That good old word, balance returns. Speaking of balance, I completely forgot to mention this during the fucking GTRP section of this, but when people actually, I'm gonna come back to this later. The relationship balance is key for emotional need, nurturing need, wellness need, sleep needs, all the sort of needs that you have and the relationship needs. Again, there's us, and then there's me, and then there's you. Yeah. I'll fucking crash and burn worse than a Hindenburg. Yuppers. Yuppers. If you don't have balance in a relationship, it ain't gonna end very well. I have a capture that basically is that of the imbalanced relationship type, okay? I'm going to scroll to it if I can actually find it, because this is in my notes here. And this came from the, well, Mouse, this came from your previous, the mama. Notes. Okay. So, I can find it. Thank you. Okay. So, let's see. Is it in subjects for stream or is that? Oh no, it's right here. So, a person was worried about comfortability with uh, people because of past situations. Okay, if you're in balance with your needs and your wants and your relationship goals, and you have a person that is telling you, hey, this choice would be more healthy for you than it would be for me, but this is your choice to make and I'm not going to enforce it on you, that's planting a subconscious seed of you need to make that decision. Right? However, if you make the wrong decision, that's not balance. That is tipping the scales to the other person. Okay. No. Again, here's where that us factor comes in, okay? Each person has their own battery. We've discussed this before. There are 4 types of batteries. There are even more types of batteries, which basically are in a relationship. But if one battery gets drained and the other ones stay full, that's gonna tip the scales. You're gonna end up crashing a lot worse than you already did. No. If you're making decisions for yourself and not having any other influence outside from what your mind is telling you, and learning to identify these things for yourself, not for others, but for yourself, that's gonna be ending up making it very healthy for you, and it's gonna be ending up making it very healthy for them. Because if they're focusing on you, then you need to focus on you first, right? Once you focus on you, you get to focus on them. And if they're focusing on them for themselves, perfect. That is an equal exchange, and it makes relationships grow stronger rather than weaker. Now, people have a hard time looking inwards on themselves. I got this from a being that I respect and trust with my life, and I would so have as a father figure, even though he is already my father figure. People have a hard time looking in on themselves, and that's saying a lot for a lot of beings because, well, if we just focus on people and we don't focus on ourselves, you're gonna end up destroying yourself and you're gonna end up sacrificing your entire life to be with that person. There is no us, there's that person. Right? If you're focusing on one target, let me put it from a Texan's perspective. Let's say that door right there. That door cannot open without the other door, right? Specifically, that door. Now, if that door is gone, that's just going to create a blockage for you, right? You can't let yourself go through. You have to kind of move past that door and move past that kind of blockage, right? Now, if you're doing that to yourself, you're doing that for the other person, that is self-sacrificing and it's not very healthy. It's not. I talked about this before. The more you sacrifice, the more you harm yourself in the process. You also harm your partners that way. Because again, you're sacrificing your happiness, your time, your needs, your wants for that person. That's not healthy. I apologize if this sounds really mean to other people, or if it sounds really depriving, or if it sounds really, really, really bad to some people. But that is hard truth that you have to learn in relationships. Relationships are not a fucking focus on one person kind of deal. Okay? There's focusing on you, there's focusing on the other person, and there's focusing on us. The relationship. The one partner, another partner if you're in a poly, and then the relationship. Okay? There is no me, I, you. There is us in a relationship. Okay? hard lesson everybody has to learn. But if you made the choice to self-sacrifice everything for that person, to self-sacrifice your feelings, your sleep schedule, your basic needs, your water, your food, your shelter, your everything, your family, then by all means, if you're willing to do that, I cannot stop you. I cannot change you. I cannot do anything for you other than watch you and just be sad. Because it's sad to see in relationships now. There's so many people sacrificing their happiness for another's. And well, it's not good to see. Because in all honesty, that's how we got here today. Through all that struggle, through all that mental stuff, through all that trauma from relationships. Again, high believer in relationship anarchy. High believer. That way I don't have to put labels on people and I don't have to basically have myself in a relationship. I believe in freedom. Relationship anarchy is a freedom of itself, right? I like it. I like relationship anarchy. I like being with multiple people. I like exploring relationships. I like figuring out what I want and what I need. And if I found what I want / need in the person that I like, then so be it. But I'm still gonna have that relationship anarchy in me. Because I like multiple people. I'd rather have a multi-relationship rather than a single relationship, because that's seriously not what I want. Not anymore. Not anymore. The girl has her priorities straight. But I think that is enough mental health stuff for now. And mental fortitude talk and sharing. Because in all honesty, I love going back on memories. I love them. I fucking had a dream yesterday that was really, really fucking eye-opening and so fucking good to witness. And it's just like, bruh, I needed that dream in my life. Every one of my friends was there. Every one of my fucking past relationships was there. Past friendships, past groups. They were all smiling at me, pushing me on to move forward, and just pushing me to actually be better for myself. Like, holy shit, it is such an eye-opening dream. Your girl is right where she belongs, and I'm fucking living the life that I want. Life I want and need. I love it. I'm gonna end this on a question. Okay. And this is for all of y'all. Okay. Ignoring outside factors, ignoring outside everything, relationships, learning experiences, life choices, everything. Okay, ignoring everything. Just be a blank mind with me, okay? Do you feel like you're in the right spot in your life, in your timeline, for you? Not anybody else, for you. That is the question I want you to ask yourself. And if you have an answer, answer it for yourself, okay? But keep in mind, no other fucking exterior motives. Just you. You love you for who you are. No. Never and always. You know what? That's a fair answer. That's actually a really fair answer. Holy shit, Mouse. Fucking props to you for saying that. Holy shit. I like that. I like the answer. Never and always. That kind of opens the eyes to kind of uncertainty, but also a kind of certain that obviously life's a bitch, right? We know life's a bitch. Everything is basically fueled by life, and life's a bitch. But never is a very good answer because, well, we never know what's going to happen in our life. We never know what's going to be going on in the asteroid field, the clouds, the weather. We never know, right? But we always know because we are within ourselves. Okay? We know what we're feeling. We know what our mental thought patterns are. We know what our fucking fingers are doing. We know what our fucking eyes are doing. We're blinking. We're feeling. We're fucking having a collar on. We're having headphones on. We're having horns on and ears on. We know that, right? And that's good for ourselves. And remember, once you know, I'm gonna say this for everybody else that possibly fucking hates me now. The more we know about ourselves, the more we can defend ourselves from trauma, from life choices that we have made that affected others, that affected people, that affect a lot of people, individuals. Right? The more we know about ourselves, the better, because we can explain why we're making that decision. And if you made that decision for another person in your life that basically fucked over every person in your life, then that's on you. Sad to say. You let other people get to you. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and write it out here, because I have no idea why I'm starting to feel very dreamed, and I gotta figure that out for myself. Let's see. Who we got to read, chat? Who we got? Oh, shit. Yo, accessorily, please cooperate with me. / read browser. Go ahead and see who's all active and online today. Hello. Let's see, we got, oh, there's a new channel out. Hell yeah. We got Zero, we got Hyperfox, we got Supreme. I haven't seen Supreme in a while. Holy shit. We got Roomy, we got Hutch. Actually, have we rated Hutch before? I don't think we've rated Hutch before. Hutch is another RP streamer that I like to watch. He's so fun. He plays Bust Insider. I like Bust Insider. He's so funny. Yep, you know yourself. That's the best thing to actually say. Right. Let's go ahead and give Rooney a little raid here. We're gonna go ahead and do this because I feel like giving Rooney a raid. Oh, Ketsu's there as well. This'll be interesting. Hey, y'all take care. Have a nice day, and I will see you on Friday for a Friday stream while you vibe and chill to either some RP or some VR chat time. Y'all take care. Au revoir, love you, and has a good one.